Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today I'm in Whiteville, North Carolina, visiting Van Underwood Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, and I'm checking out a 2018 Dodge Challenger in the SXT trim level. Now this one has the optional Blacktop package, which adds some pretty cool features. So let's go ahead and check it out. This Challenger is sitting on 245/45 Firestone tires, wrapped around 20-inch alloy wheels, painted a gloss black. Now that's part of the Blacktop package. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated disc rotors in the front and solid disc rotors in the back. The name of this color is White Knuckle, and in this particular case it has the Blacktop package, which a white vehicle helps point out all the black accents that the Blacktop package has. Now you saw the wheels in a gloss black. So here in the front, you have a gloss portion here in the grille. So typically in the regular SXT, this portion right here will be chrome, and then the background will be a matte black. So you see these gloss black portions, those are included with the Blacktop package. You also had the fog lights, halogen projector fog lights there at the bottom. A little bit of a splitter there at the bottom as well. And the headlights are in a projector tube for your low and your high beams. Powered by halogen bulbs. You also have an accent, an LED accent around the headlights and the daytime running lights. You can turn the daytime running lights on and off. It's an amber light, which also serves as your turn signal as well. The hood scoops are functional in that they actually dump air into the engine compartment. So that way it helps with a little bit with cooling, but they look really cool, especially in contrast with the white. This is what the key looks like. It's a proximity key, and it's designed where you can use the vehicle 100% without taking it out of your pocket or a bag. So it has some buttons here, lock and unlock, the ability to pop the trunk there, and a panic button. It also has a physical key on the inside in case you need it, but generally you can just keep this in your pocket. Let's go ahead and push that panic button, see what happens. So it basically flashes the lights, beeps the horn. Okay, so looking at the profile of the vehicle, you can see kind of goes along with the Blacktop package, but it's not part of it. It just kind of accents it well. Right here is your little lip spoiler that continues on, and you have this black portion here at the very bottom, which protects the paint and extends all the way around to the back as well. And that's like a really durable, smooth, matte plastic. You have a little bit of you have the white side mirrors, but you have a little bit of a black portion around the base, which is neat. It's all black around the outside of the windows, and this portion, this little pillar right there, is blacked out as well, just kind of giving you that one solid appearance. Now, tinting the windows would really complete that look, and I think that's a must, especially on this particular one with the white and black combination. As long as you have the key with you, it can be in your pocket, in a bag, whatever. As long as it's within a close proximity of this door, you can lock and unlock the doors simply by pushing buttons. So this top button right here locks the door. So right now it's set to where it beeps the horn when it locks the doors. You could turn that setting off if you want. So the vehicle is locked. If I want to unlock it, I simply put my hand underneath the handle. As long as it senses that key nearby this door, it's going to allow me access to the vehicle. So I put my hand under there for a half a second, and it unlocks the door and gives me access. Okay, so here's the inside of the passenger door, and it's pretty much all black except for the chrome handle, frosted chrome handle there. So soft to the touch surfaces all around your arm. So right in here is a soft to the touch armrest that extends all the way up in here around where your leg would be. Cloth is right in here, which is soft as well. And then you have a soft to the touch material up in here. It's kind of like a Nerf It's the same material that the dashboard is made out of. It's kind of like a Nerf, really tough Nerf material. It's the only way I know how to explain it. You also have some contrast stitching here in a French design. A pocket here in the very back. Pocket here, which has a little liner that you can take out and clean and put back in. Then you have a bottle holder here in the front. And then there's one of the speakers in the door. Okay, so here's your threshold with a plastic sill plate, hard plastic sill plate. Cloth seats with the stitching and a little pattern there on the center portion. Manually adjusted seats. There's the floorboard, and the floor mat hooks in place right there so it doesn't slide around on you. Plenty of legroom. That's one of the pluses in this vehicle, is the legroom here in the front. You have a little net pocket there on the side with a 12-volt power supply, and you'll notice the 12-volt power supply has a key because that turns on and off with the ignition. Now I'll show you another one that doesn't do that. We'll get to that in a minute. Dashboard, soft to the touch material. It's that same material that was on the top of the door. Now you also have a lockable glove compartment that has little shelves in there in a hard plastic right in here, and then down here is a felt lined bottom portion. Now on this side, to access the back seat, you can simply pull this little handle right here so the rear passenger can reach it. And when we pull that, not only does it make the seat go forward like that, tilt forward, but also you just push it and it releases the bottom as well. So this is the easiest way to access the back seat, is through the passenger side. On the driver's side, it's a little bit different. Okay, so there's your floorboard. So it's going to make it look like, and somebody commented on a previous Challenger video, that looking at the seat there on the other side, that seat's all the way back. So with the seat all the way back, you're going to have a very limited amount of legroom, if at all, okay? But I use the back seat all the time. I drive a Challenger, and I just have to move the seat up a little bit, and with the seat up, you do have a decent amount of legroom. So a 6-foot tall person or taller can sit in the back seat. You just have to compromise some legroom here in the front. And they are big seats as well, so very comfortable. Cup holders are here in the center and the armrest. You can move that out of the way if you want. It also has the latch system for car seats. Soft to the touch surfaces here for your armrest. There's little LEDs there in the top and the headliner shining down in the back, but they're not too bright, so they're not blinding anybody, but they do give you some good ambient light. The back of the seats, the front seats, have these pockets which are very handy. Okay, so making our way around to the back of the vehicle, there's a little antenna right here at the very top, right there. It's not like a shark fin. It's similar to a shark fin, but it's more flat. And then you have a third brake light just below it, powered by LEDs. Matter of fact, all the rear lighting in this vehicle is all LEDs. So standard in the 18 is a spoiler. So the spoiler and the backup camera, there's a lot of things that were upgraded in the 18 that are a little subtle, but I think are really good. So you have the spoiler. In this particular case, it's painted black because this has the Blacktop package, but it'll typically come the same color as the vehicle. Your backup camera is hidden right here in the center portion, which is, I love the way they have it right in the very center. That really helps out with visualizing what's behind you, since it's a wide angle view typically in a backup camera. Now you have these reflectors down here. These are not lights, these are reflectors right in there. And then you have the exhaust surrounds around the dual exhaust tips, allowing air to flow through so it's not heating up the exhaust tips there and, you know, melting the plastic around it. True dual exhaust as well. To open up the trunk, there is a button on the key, which you saw. There's also a button right in here. So as long as you have the key with you within a close proximity of this back of the vehicle, you push this button and it'll open up the trunk, even when the vehicle's locked. Okay, so here's your trunk area, and it's completely carpeted. So even where the speakers are under here, it's all carpeted. There's no wires hanging out, there's no speakers to get in the way or scratch any of your luggage, anything like that. You do have places to put in like a net pocket or something back here as well. You can fold the seats down. It's a 60-40 split seat system there, so you can see the split right in there, so that way you can maintain some passenger space while adding to your cargo space. Okay, so let's lift this up. This is your more storage back here, but you also have your battery. But you notice there's no spare tire. It has a tire inflator kit in this particular vehicle. Spare tire is an optional upgrade if you want a compact spare tire located under here. But if you don't, then it saves a little bit of weight, and you have a tire inflator kit and a little bit of storage under here. The fuel door is here on the driver's side, which is very convenient. And since it's the Blacktop package, it is painted a matte black. Otherwise it would be chrome. So let's go ahead and open that up. So you can see it has a traditional cap, a little tether, plastic tether there so you don't lose it, and a place to hang it right here. So pull the cap out, you hang the tether right on that little notch, and it gets the cap out of your way while you're pumping gas. To start it up, as long as the key's inside the vehicle, it can be in your pocket, in a bag, in the cup holder, or whatever. You put your foot on the brake and push this button to start it. Here's the floorboard in front of the driver's seat. You notice the floor mat hooks in place in two places. There's your accelerator and brake pedal. It has a footrest here on the far left and a foot actuated parking brake. So let's go ahead and take a look under the hood. To open the hood, there's a latch slightly to the right of the center line. So your center's right in here, and you reach in, it's right in this area. Move it to the left and lift it up. It doesn't take much effort to lift it up, and it'll go up the rest of the way by itself. You can see the insulated hood here, and that's where the air flows through. Those little hood scoops on both sides. Okay, so let's look at the engine compartment. So I don't know if you can see all the way back in there, but it does have an insulated firewall, and it has a big plastic cover covering up the engine, so it's hard to really see it, but it does have a seal across the back right in here. Kind of helps with the airflow, a little bit of noise, that kind of thing. You can see a little bit here on the side. There's a 3.6 liter Pentastar V6 paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission with sport mode. This is actually pretty cool. Your oil filter is right there. So how's that for easy to get to? The inside of the driver's side door is just like the passenger side, except for it has a few more buttons. So you have your door lock controls, your power window, and your side mirror adjustments here. Now both front windows are automatic one touch down. So we push it one time and it'll go down. When you go up, you do have to hold it, so it will not go all the way up by itself. Alright, so a power seat here for your driver. Actually, it's kind of a combination of power and manual. So manual tilt and power going forward and back, up and down. You also have a 4-way lumbar adjustment as well. Here to the left of the steering column, you have your headlight controls. So you have automatic, then you have off, parking light, and then on for your headlights. You push this in for your fog lights. You just push that in with your headlights on and your fog lights will turn on. You have a dimmer switch for your interior gauges and your ambient lighting in the vehicle, and the ability to open up the trunk there. You also have an ambidextrous lever here for your tilt and your telescoping steering column. So we can adjust it quite a ways up and down and in and out. I mean, it's really has a lot of articulation, and then you just lock it in place like so. Okay, let's take a look here from the driver's seat, checking it out. So I have the seat all the way back and all the way down, and I can barely touch the pedals here. I mean, I'm 6 feet tall, and it's definitely too far back for me to drive in this position. But I just want to give you an idea of the possible legroom here. I mean, you could be really tall and drive this vehicle. Of course, it's going to diminish your legroom in the back for your rear passengers, but anyways, lots of room back in the front here. Okay, looking at the steering wheel, now this one has the leather-wrapped sport steering wheel, which is part of the Blacktop package, and it has little bolsters here at the bottom and the top. It also has little perforations here on the ends, looking pretty cool. And the steering wheel is a good thickness, and it's soft to the touch. Absolutely perfect. It's not one of those steering wheels that's going to fatigue your hands or dig into your bones. It's just really perfect for my hand anyway. So here on the right side, you have your cruise control buttons. On the back of the steering wheel, you have a volume for your radio. So you have this toggle up and down with a center button. And it's designed where when you put your hand and you're driving like this, your back fingers line up with it perfectly. So you have your volume for your radio up and down. Center button cycles through your audio source. On the left side, on the back, there's the same button configuration. Up and down is changing through your radio stations or your audio track, and the center button only cycles through your presets on your radio. Okay, so these buttons correspond with the screen between the gauges, which we'll get to in just a minute. Down here is your Bluetooth control, so answer, hang up. You also have a very advanced voice recognition system in this vehicle, so you can use that for changing the radio and doing a whole lot of different things. The climate control can be adjusted, all that stuff, and it's highly worthwhile, in my opinion, to learn how to use the commands, so that way you can keep your eyes on the wheel and stay productive. You know, you can make calls, change the radio station, adjust the climate control without taking your hands off the wheel. Very nice. Okay, so you have your turn signal here with your windshield wiper controls. Okay, so let's look at the gauges. So it has a little bit of a glare there, but with the camera, but I can see it fine with my eyes. It has a nice red dial around each gauge. Now, it's a little bit of a concave. I don't know if I think you can tell from this position here. The speedometer and the tachometer are both kind of dished out and concave, giving you that retro style and look. So the RPMs and the speedometer here are both like a standard gauge. But here in the center is where you get the a lot of information. So you have a digital speedometer there in the very center. You also have your engine coolant temperature on the left side. On the right side is your fuel gauge. Right above that is what gear you're in. Outside temperatures on the top right, and your range is here on the left. Now this is customizable screen, so you can adjust the things here on the corner. You can also change the way the gear is represented there in that position. So let's go ahead and use these buttons here and check out this screen. So right now it shows the speedometer. Now if I scroll down, you're going to see this is part of a whole menu system. Number 1 is speedometer. Number 2 is the vehicle info. And you'll notice it has these little bars right here. There's actually more information under the vehicle info screen. Scrolling to the right and left, I can get more information. So I can get temperatures and pressures, even the pressure for the tires as well. Scrolling down again, I can go into performance. So this one has 2 options. You have a braking distance, and then you have a 0 to 60 timer. So you can keep track of your best, and you can keep track of the whole thing. So as you come to a stop, and you have this screen up, and you give it gas, it's going to time you the time it takes for you to get to 60 miles per hour, and then that way it actually gives you the precise number. Scrolling down again, fuel economy. So this gives your current fuel economy as well as your range and your average. You can reset this. Scrolling to the right, you have basically the same thing that's resettable, but it does not have the current fuel economy. Scrolling down, we have your trip info. You have trip A and trip B. Scrolling right and left, and you have your miles per gallon, and your elapsed time. Scrolling down again will give you whatever your radio is doing at the time. Scrolling down again will be any stored messages will show up there, and screen setup. So this is where you can go in and you can change the information. You see it highlights that little red portion right there. We can change the center, the gear display, the odometer, current gear, and then you can restore defaults, and then you can do upper right. So as you land on a particular option, it illuminates the area that it's talking about, so you can make the appropriate choices. So let's say we want to go to the upper right. We can select that, and we can change to a compass or time or range or whatever we want. We can go to trip A, trip B, or we could just have nothing there if we want. Well, we'll just go ahead and keep the outside temperature. Alright, scrolling down again will take us back to the digital speedometer. And I like the way the digital portion speedometer, the font of the numbers match the font and the gauges here. It's like a sporty looking race font or whatever, but I think that's really cool. All right. Okay, so in the 2018 models, this is the standard radio. So it's a 7-inch Uconnect 4 system, which the clarity, the resolution, the contrast, the colors, everything is fantastic. And this is a big upgrade, I think, compared to the previous standard radio, which is a much smaller screen, much lower resolution. This one just looks fantastic. Okay, so the way this Uconnect system is, with the touchscreen, you have your buttons here across the bottom, which are your basically all your options here at the bottom, and you can quickly go through whatever you want. So right now we're in the radio, and your presets will be there at the top. You can choose AM, FM, satellite radio in this case. Go to media. There's no media plugged in, so you can plug in a USB device, Bluetooth audio, that kind of thing, and play it through here. Select the source, and you have USB 1, USB 2, auxiliary input, and Bluetooth. Climate control can be adjusted here on the screen. You also have some buttons, physical buttons below, which we'll get to in a minute. where you want the air to blow, recirculate the air, your temperature for your driver separate from your passenger, which you can also sync if you want, your fan speed. So you can simply just start pushing the screen and change the fan. You can change where you want the air to blow, all that stuff. You have your front and rear defrosters. When you turn on your rear defroster, it also turns on your heated side mirrors as well. Okay, so right here is your apps. So you have audio settings, compass, phone, all your different apps here. And this is one screen on this particular vehicle. So if you wanted to change any of these icons here at the bottom, you can choose the one you want up here and replace the one down there. So let's say we want audio settings to replace the phone, okay? So let's cancel that. Audio settings, we just press and hold it. We can go down here to phone, like so. So now we have the audio settings instead of the phone. We can always put it back, press and hold it, move it down there, and replace it. The phone, I don't have one paired, but once you pair your phone, you have access to your recent calls, favorites there at the very top. You can also transfer the call back to your cell phone, just in case you want to have a private call. You can also get messaging, like as you're driving, it'll alert you if you get a text message, and you can actually respond to it using your voice, which is great. Compass, which is pretty neat. I like the way they just have a compass. You can see which direction the vehicle's facing. And then your settings, last but not least. This has a lot of settings, but there's a couple of them I want to point out. So, doors and locks. So once you go into, let's go in there. Okay, so if we don't want the horn to sound when we lock on the first press or at all, we can have that option. So let's say we push the button and lock the doors, we can have it to where the horn does not beep unless we keep pressing the button, and then it'll finally beep for the second time, or we can turn that feature off. Same thing with unlock. We can do the driver's door or all doors. You could turn on or off the passive entry with the proximity key, so you can actually have to use the button there. So if you're concerned about safety issues or whatever, then you can turn off that passive entry if you want. All right, let's go back out of that. Now the lights. So this is where you will turn on your daytime running lights. You could turn that on or off. You also have more settings there, like turning on your headlights with your wipers, flashlights with the lock, things like that. But there's lots of different settings you can go into, and they're all found right there. And you'll notice it has a clock here, also your temperatures that the vehicle set at as far as your climate control, and then your outside temperatures right there. So that's kind of a quick rundown of the screen. There's a lot more to show, but just for the interest of time, we're going to move on. Okay, so you have a traditional volume tuned through the stations. You can mute the radio. You can turn the screen off if you want to. Push it like that. Anytime you want the screen on, you just tap it and it'll turn right back on. Sport mode. So this will, when you push that, you have this little green flag that appears up here showing you that you're in sport mode. And this will, what's interesting about this is that it holds your gear shifting to a higher, RPM. It also goes to about 6th gear. It doesn't really go into the higher gears. Now, if you have it in sport mode and you're cruising along, and then you put it in, you set your cruise control, your sport mode kind of turns off. It doesn't turn off, but it doesn't completely turn off, because once you turn your cruise control off, then it automatically turns back on, but it doesn't have the same effect. It's going to go up to your 8th gear, and it's going to drive normally on cruise control. As soon as you turn off your cruise control, it gears down and right back into your sport mode. So if you accidentally leave your sport mode on and you just cruising on the highway with your cruise control, it's not going to, you're not going to suffer any consequences as far as bad fuel economy. Okay, traction control, in case you need to spin tires, you can push that button. And some buttons for your climate control. So your front and rear defrosters, your temperature for your driver and passenger, your fan speed, and air conditioning, recirculate the air, and also you just automatic. So you could just put it on auto, set the temperature, and you're good to go. Okay, so right in here you have a little storage pocket. And here's your shifter. Really comfortable shifter. And it has a bright display right here on top. Let's go ahead and put it in reverse so we can check out the backup camera. So the backup camera has the active guide lines. So as I turn the steering wheel, it will turn the lines as well. And it, like I mentioned before, that's in the very center position of the vehicle, so you're not trying to compensate. It is a wide angle view, so it'll give you a good broad view behind you. Continuing down, there's neutral, there's drive, that's your normal drive position. If you want to go into manual mode and cycle through the 8 gear ratios manually, just bump it here to the left, and you can, now it's in manual mode, and you'll know it's in manual mode because it'll show right here with the where your gears are. So it says number 1. We can change it to number 2. So how I change it is like a ratchet shifter, pulling it back, changing it into the next gear, pushing it up, down shifts. So downshift, upshift. At any time, I can always just slide it to the right. It'll go back in drive, and it'll take over changing the gears for me. Okay, so you have some illuminated cup holders here. Armrest that's soft to the touch, very soft with the contrast stitching there. And you notice this portion kind of lifts up, kind of a little divider. And this is, since 2015, the Challenger has been modeled after the 1971 Challenger. So some of these features, are design cues from that year. Okay, so this lifts up, and you have the Dodge Brothers emblem in here. So this is a felt-lined compartment. It has 2 USB ports, a USB port, 2 USB ports and auxiliary input, and a 12-volt power supply. And you can see it has a backlighting, so you can find it at nighttime. And this one has a battery. So you see a little battery letting you know that this is directly to the battery. You do not have to turn the vehicle on or off, have the accessories on or have it running in order to plug a device in here. Now it does have some places for wires to go in and out. But even if you do run a wire over in this area, it's not going to pinch it or anything. It's just going to be a little bit tighter. But there's the places for, larger wires, I suppose. Rear view mirror is an auto dim rear view mirror, and it's actually auto dimming now because I have the shade over this light sensor. Light sensor is right back here. Tap lights. And place to put your shades. It has like this foam background, and right in here. There's your microphone for your Bluetooth system. Visor has mirror and lights. It also has this little piece that extends out, which is handy. Okay, so let's look at the visibility in the back. So, with the Challenger, since it's designed after the 71 Challenger, the 71 Challenger had a significant blind spot back here. So this is no different. So looking over your shoulders, let's say you're backing out of a parking space, directly behind you is fine. Now, the backup camera helps out with this, but you can see right there, that pillar is pretty big. So, it's something you have to get used to backing out of a parking space, or, changing lanes, things like that. But, I've gotten used to it. It was a little bit awkward at first, but it's really not a big deal once you adjust your mirrors and everything. Alright, last but not least, before we go, I'm going to show you the window sticker. You can use the pause button to check it out and read it in detail if you'd like. So you can see there's the SXT. Standard equipment starts down in here. Then you have your interior features, exterior features, and then the optional equipment. The only optional equipment is the Blacktop package. You see all that stuff. There's your fuel economy, your crash ratings, All right, there you go. 2018 Dodge Challenger SXT with the Blacktop package. Really awesome vehicle. This is actually, I own a 2016 SXT with a 6-cylinder, and with the amount of power the 6-cylinder has, it's absolutely more power than I need. It's very, very powerful vehicle. So a lot of people, especially paired to the 8-speed, with the 8-speed transmission and the, you know, the 3.6 liter, absolutely fantastic as far as power, and it's just a great car in my opinion. This is the vehicle I chose, or at least the 16 anyway. They do have a lot of upgrades as far as like the system here. You have a spoiler, you have the backup camera now. My vehicle didn't come with that. So anyways, thank you for watching. Thank you to Van Underwood Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram here in Whiteville, North Carolina, and I'll see you guys next time.